Wow. We didn't change clothes. We didn't do anything. We're back. It's like we're in the same night. Wow. Wow. So funny. Has this ever happened in JP history? No. Wow. Okay. What's up, guys? It's Jacob's Film Perspectives back here with Bella.
Ayo.
Guest. Deontay cannot be with us because he's busy hunting skinwalkers in the woods.
Yep.
East Missouri. And yeah, I'd be there too, but we got to talk about The Long Walk.
Woo!
The task is simple. Walk or die, from legendary author Stephen King. Anything Stephen King, I will be sold on. I am a Stephen King whore. I think I got that from my mom because my mom loves reading, and Stephen King and reading kind of go together. Like, you know, it's just kind of a lot of readers love Stephen King, obviously. Great writer. I'm wearing a Pennywise shirt, so I mean.
Awesome.
Actually, that works for The Long Walk. Wow. I'm on theme with my t-shirt.
Look at you, Jerry. Go off.
Yeah, but we're here with Raven Conventions. Follow on Spotify and YouTube, or Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Instagram.
You got it.
Subscribe on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. They're touching on everything. It's basically a lot more informational and a lot more enriching than this podcast is. So, yeah, do that.
Check us out. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Especially if you want some like really good, like deep stuff. And I know the world is scary right now, but if there's some stuff, I feel like there's comfort in talking about it.
Oh no. Jacob died.
Am I back?
You're back.
StreamYard, you're gonna give me an aneurysm. It's not even my Wi-Fi is perfect right now, so it has to be StreamYard. Anyway,
Good.
StreamYard, I'm coming for you. Anyway, Deontay, if you see this, I love you, but we should try something better than StreamYard. Craven Conventions, yeah. Yeah. If you want like some topics on real world stuff that's happening today that I think are very pertinent, you should go. That sounded pretentious, but pertinent sounds very pretentious, that word. But I mean it. Yeah, definitely go check that out. But yeah, we're talking about The Long Walk.
So when did you see this, Jacob?
I saw this actually twice in theaters. I saw this. So this was actually my first movie back to theaters since Weapons.
Ooh, solid film.
Which I wish I could have talked about Weapons on this podcast, but time's passed. You may say that on the end of the year though, but end of the year maybe. But The Long Son of a gun. Son of a gun.
Welcome back.
I'm trying to record here. Would you mind working? I saw The Long Walk. Came out 3 weeks ago. Something like that. I saw it right after opening weekend. I saw it that Tuesday. I had a doctor's appointment, and I went after my doctor's appointment, actually. So I wanted to see it that bad. I saw it like on a random Tuesday. And then I went and saw it again that Saturday because I was like, I got to show my best friend this. So me and my best buddy, me and him went and saw this. I was like, he's got to see this movie. And so he saw it. And so, yeah, that's when I saw it. When did you watch The Long Walk?
I saw it literally earlier today, like at 2 p.m. Caught a showtime.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah. I did not have any other time that I could see it. And I was like, I have to see it before we talk about it. So
Well,
So
I appreciate your dedication for rushing out to go see it.
absolutely, I had a great time. It was a lovely
I'm, I'm think, I think it would probably be great to see. That would be, on a side note, that would be dope. Just, you know what? Hit the streets, walk the streets, or hit the subway and just go to the theater. You know what I mean?
That's usually how it works for me. I tend to be a solo moviegoer for the
That
most part.
sounds so lovely. Just, like just one day, just be like, you know what? I'm going to go watch a movie right now. Oh, there's a showing in 30 minutes. I can make it. I'll walk there. That sounds so
That's
convenient.
pretty much how it works for me most of the time. Yeah.
That sounds so peaceful and lovely. I have to drive 40 minutes through multiple towns and a lot of back roads, and I have to be in a city full of idiots. Well, I mean, obviously, all cities are full of idiots, but I have to be in a small town, and it's not really a city; it's more of a town full of idiots to watch movies, and I have to drive 45 minutes in my own car to get there. So that sounds just like a dream come true. So
It is. I will say this was a very intense solo viewing. So I don't know if it would have been better if I had seen it with a friend or worse if I had seen it with a friend, because this is a very visceral film.
oh well, yeah, visceral, yeah, and one could say you took the long walk to see the long walk.
One could say that I did indeed.
I took the long drive, but anyway, we will stop with the terrible jokes for now. The long walk. I don't know if y'all. I'll just go ahead and say this for Deontay since he's not here. He's probably going to make a separate video. Actually, I'm going to push him to make a separate video because he needs to get some content out, and he really should talk about this movie. So this is his favorite movie of the year so far right now.
Wow.
It's what he told me. So Deontay thinks this is the best movie of the year he's seen. I totally respect that pick. I'll say this right now. It's in my top 3 of the year right now.
Solid.
And it was almost got to number 1, I thought. But then even on rewatch, it almost got to number 1. But then there's just 2 movies above it. And I won't say the 2 movies because that'll be for the end of the year. But it came close. It's for sure top 3 of the year, though. I freaking love this movie. Stephen King is, say what you want about the man. He's a little crazy, but he is a great writer. I mean, we got It from him, Cujo, Shining, Shawshank Redemption, Misery, Salem's Lot. The list goes on and on. I could talk for hours if I just named off all of his books. I mean, the man is a prolific writer, and this was actually his first. Was it his first book he wrote, or one of his first?
I honestly have no idea. I had never heard of this one.
Me either. When I saw it came out, I was like, okay, The Long Walk, Stephen King, okay.
Yeah, originally published in 1979. So yeah.
Yeah, it's one of I know he wrote it more about his the Vietnam era, more about that because you can definitely get Vietnam. You could tell kind of some Vietnam vibes. I think he wrote it as a kind of common. And I have a friend, actually, one of my best friends read the book after seeing the movie, and he told me about the book and what the book entails. So I know the book and the differences because of what he told me. I'm not a reader. I'm an idiot, you guys. I don't read. Count how many times I say I'm an idiot on this podcast. I think I've said I'm an idiot probably 50 times a night. That's just like a go-to saying for me. But yeah, I'm not a big reader, but my friend read it, who is a big reader, and he told me the differences. He says the film is better. I've seen a lot of people say the film is better, so I think that's a pretty popular opinion on that. The book is more about Ray and focuses more on his girlfriend. There's more Vietnam commentary. It's kind of more of its time, for sure, from what I understand.
It's interesting that you're saying like it's very Vietnam because I couldn't figure out quite what period we were in watching the movie.
Well, yeah, and the ending is different too. It has a different ending, which I can't remember. I'm trying to remember the ending he told me. He told me like weeks ago. But the ending is a little different. But apparently, the ending is executed much better in the movie. So for all you book fans out there, you may hate me for saying that, but I think the book is not as good as the movie, is what I've heard from people that have actually read it.
Occasionally that happens. Like there's a
But
couple that way about.
yeah, Stephen King. It's directed by Francis Lawrence, who, if you see his filmography, you should know he's the perfect man for this. The Hunger Games. He directed at least the first 2 Hunger Games. I think he did the third one. I don't know if he did the last.
I believe he did all of them. Francis Lawrence.
All of them?
Yeah.
I know for sure he did the first 2. I wasn't sure about Mockingjay Part 1 and 2.
Yeah, he did do those.
And he also did
he maybe did the first Hunger Games film, but he did all of the remaining ones.
He didn't do the first Hunger Games?
It doesn't look like it.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that. Wow, okay. So he did 3 out of 4 Hunger Games, and he did Constantine, which is a very underrated 2000s Keanu Reeves movie. Love Constantine. Shout out that movie. Underrated comic book movie. I love that movie. It's a great film. So if you think about it, a really great director for this, and J.T. Moner did the script, and he wrote and directed a top 5 movie from, if you guys remember, if you're a JFP fan, Strange Darling was in my top 5 of last year.
Love.
And he wrote and directed Strange Darling, and he wrote this movie. So it's like a perfect pairing for real for this movie. So Stephen King and David Johnson, Alien Romulus fame. Also Rye Lane. If you haven't seen Rye Lane on Hulu, that's a great underrated. It's a British film, so a lot of people haven't seen it. Or a UK film. I don't know the difference there, but somewhere in there. And it's a really good romantic comedy. And of course, he was great in Alien Romulus as the brother, the robot. I forgot his name in that movie, but Alex, something like that. Anyway,
I think so. That sounds correct to me.
Yeah, and we got Cooper Hoffman, Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, great in Licorice Pizza, and Paul Thomas Anderson film. He's also really good in Saturday Night Live. He has a little bit part in that's really good. He's kind of an up-and-comer. He hasn't been much recently. Mm-hmm. He's just kind of now starting to hit that stride. But his father is one of the greatest actors ever. His father will always be in my top 10 actors. I love Philip Seymour Hoffman. Rest in peace. And that's also a cool tie-in because he was in the Hunger Games movies.
Plutarch.
So that's pretty cool. So yeah, directed by that. And it's basically, I guess I'll set it up. Deontay always sets it up. I guess I'll set it up. It's in this dystopian future. It's not really, the time period is not really set down. It could be in the future. It could be in the past. I mean, it's not really the point of the movie. Mm-hmm. It's dystopian. It's 15 years, I want to say, after this great war that happened. And obviously it was some kind of civil war inside the country, America. And every year there's 50 contestants that do this every year. Yeah. That do this long walk, and whoever wins gets one wish and like a ton of money. They never explain the amount of money, but a ton of money and one wish. And it's like this thing, and it's a lottery you go into. And there's a great line in the movie that said it's not really a volunteer thing. It's more of a forced thing because everybody does it. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like but it is volunteer by nature, but it is kind of forced upon you to be in it from what they say in the movie, from the context we get from that. And it's kind of this dystopian world. There's this major played by Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, the Joker himself. Really great role. Great. He just has a great voice for it. And
everything. I love Mark Hamill.
Yeah, he's great. He's the major, and we follow all 50, but we kind of follow the main character is Raymond and oh my gosh.
His friend Pete.
His friend Pete. Thank you. I was blanking.
Yeah.
His friend Pete and Peter McVries is his last name, and Raymond Garrity is his last name. And they kind of bond, and it's about these guys on this walk. It's a very simple setup. I don't really need to explain the setup more than that because it's a very simple. Once you see the movie, you know it's. And this is spoiler, so we can go all spoiler on it. But it's a very simple setup, very simple premise. I knew this movie was going to be great just because of the premise. Stephen King, simple premise, screenwriter, the director. I was like, you can't. David Johnson, love that man. I loved him in Rye Lane, and then Alien Romulus is when everybody was like, "Oh, this man is amazing," and then now he's like getting Oscar talks, and he deserves a supporting Oscar for this. I'll say that right now.
So good in this movie.
I think he deserves at least a nomination for sure, and this should skyrocket his career. And Cooper Hoffman as well does really good. There's some other people. There's a few other familiar people you've seen in other movies. There's a guy from The Clove Hitch Killer. Don't know the actor's name. He plays a very good, annoying guy that you really want to beat up. The kid from Karate Kid Legends. I have not seen that movie yet. I've heard it's not that good, but he is absolutely great in this movie. I'm blanking on his name as well, but a great group of boys, and it's just these guys. You know, I'm guessing 18, mid-20s, early mid-20s, that age, just walking, and whoever survives by the end wins. And there's no time limit. It just goes until the last person standing. And if they walk off the road, they get shot. If they try to run away, they get shot. They get 3 warnings and 10-second breaks, and each one is a warning, and each warning lasts an hour. So if you get 3 warnings, you have to wait 3 hours till your warning's off, or if you stop or something for 10 seconds, you're dead immediately. They shoot you on spot. So it's very a harrowing setup right there already.
Yeah. And you have to maintain a pace of 3 miles per hour.
Yeah, 3 miles per hour, and they track you with they have put a watch on that tracks your pace, and anytime it's like a thing that goes off, and you're numbered. And yeah, and it starts off like that. We get an opening scene with Judy Greer, who honestly, one of my only issues with this film is I think they could have picked a better actress for the mom. That's just me. I've never liked Judy Greer as an actress. I always feel like she doesn't feel realistic. I didn't like her in the Halloween movies or Ant-Man. But
I like her. Every time I see her, though, I think of 13 Going on 30.
I've never seen that movie, so
she's like the best.
It's on my watch list. It's on my Letterboxd watch list. I know it's one of those movies everybody's like, "Oh, you got to see that movie." It's on my watch list. But yeah,
I associate her with rom-coms, so it did kind of throw me for a little bit.
I think she overacts a little too. There's a few things where I feel like it's overacted a little bit. Like, I get that's your son, but I feel like there's a more grounded way she could have reacted to certain situations in this movie where she felt like she was out of her range of acting. For me, that's just my little critique. But she starts out with her having conversation. We find out Ray, because Ray is our main character. Cooper Hoffman is who we follow, and Pete is who we meet. Kind of 2 main characters, but he's more of it's technically Ray's story. If you're going to be like technical about it, it's probably more Ray, but Pete is right there. And
there's a little bit of like a kind of subverting expectation, because we do reach a point in this film where like it kind of feels like we switch protagonists.
Yeah, I could actually see that, honestly. Yeah.
Interesting. I wasn't fully expecting that. I was hoping it would happen, but it was also like, yeah, we are fully set up to believe that we are following Ray's story, and like Ray is our hero's journey, if you will.
Yeah. And
it's really not him.
Yeah, that's who we set up with. That's the movie opens with. We get a dialogue singing in the car.
Yeah.
Really good simple setup. I love how you just get into it. You start with them in the car.
Yeah.
And then you're at the long walk. I love when they're all sitting around before the walk and just messing with each other. And that is one of the biggest praises I can give this movie. As someone who is, I was going to say a college age person. I'm not college age anymore. God, I'm old. But I'm 27 now. That's crazy to think about. But as somebody who is in their 20s, I'm a stickler about how teenage boys, college boys, 20-year-old, my area, my age of men talk. Just because I know how they talk, because I am one and I have all my friends are that age. Uh, like all my best friends, and we talk a certain way. So like it always bugs me in movies when they don't talk realistically like guys would talk in situations. And this movie is so raw, and not just, we'll get to raw and what they do, but with the dialogue is so just raw and realistic, and that screenplay is so good, where like immediately right off the bat when the guys start talking with each other and messing around, they're just throwing f bombs like it's nothing. They're talking about, sex, but they're saying bullshit. I mean, they're cussing. They're saying all these things, and it's like they're talking like actual, mid 18, 20-year-old people. In that range. They're talking like young adult men, and
They are foul mouthed, but it is absolutely
it's
accurate.
it's so that's how guys would talk on the long, like if I was ever on that long walk, I would die immediately, first off. But that's how the conversations would definitely go, to be guys just talk like that. And I love that. I love that dialogue. I love how realistic they get. I always love a good, it's not a bromance. Maybe it is a bromance.
Romance.
I love camaraderie between guys that are kind of remind me of me and my friends. That always touches my heart, because I'm big on friends. A lot of my best friends I consider my family. I consider them more like brothers than best friends. I'm a big guy on just friends as family. I really believe in that. So this movie obviously really struck me a lot of chords, because it really plays on that. If you have that emotion where you have friends that are like family, it just really hits you right in the heart. Because this was one of the few movies where I actually did tear up in the theater. I actually did. There was a few moments where I did have some tears form, and I got goosebumps maybe 4 to 5 times during this movie. Like, I actually felt a lot of emotion during this movie, and a lot of that goes to that camaraderie between friends, wanting to, not let your parents down. That right, the mother son relationship really. I have a strong relationship with my mother, so seeing that heartbreak in that mom's and Judy Greer's character's face, even though sometimes she overacted, just that whole dynamic between her and Ray just really hit me. The friendship between Peter and Ray just really hit me really hard, actually, and I wanted to see it with my best friend because of that. I was like, I got to watch this with my best friend, just see how he feels about it.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'll say my best friend also, this is his favorite movie of the year so far. He gave it an A+. So, I mean, a lot of people around me really love this movie. But yeah, that's kind of the start of it. I guess the start of what I can say about it to start off, and it just goes on from there. I'll let you talk a little bit because I'm kind of loose.
No, you're totally fine. I feel like this one is very like reminiscent of that sort of like it boy group, Stand By Me boy group, like banding together in the face of like all of these really intense challenges. And I think it's actually been a while since we've seen an adaptation of a Stephen King story that is this human, so to speak, because we all praise him as like this excellent horror author, but like some of his most excellent work is more like in just that drama, very grounded, very like based in human relationship type storytelling. And I feel like this one kind of teeters a line between both of those things, because it is so dystopian and it's more in like that, oh gosh, what's the name of that series? The Stand. It's more like that The Stand style of dystopia, where it's like there is this kind of weird unknown entity overseeing everybody. Like we don't get a lot of clarity about like the governmental system. We don't get a lot of clarity about like what is the state of this country that we are in, and where are all of these people. It's presumably America. Like they reference that there are 50 states that all of these kids are being pulled in from, and they're representing their state for this walk. But like I actually really appreciated the fact that we don't spend a lot of time digging into the history. It's just, this is what it is. It is obviously more of like an authoritarian political system where people are facing extraordinary economic strife. And this is one of the only ways, if not the only way out for them, forcing them into this situation. And the fact that these boys are so foul-mouthed and jovial with each other, it is really heartbreaking to watch as they all slowly kind of start falling apart by like 300 miles in, because yeah, that's the whole point of this, is you just don't stop walking. So like the amount of physical and mental ailments that occur through this walk are pretty gruesome and devastating. And this had many scenes that were very hard for me to watch this year, actually.
Oh yeah, I could totally see. Yeah, I could see. I've actually seen a lot of people say it's one they don't want to revisit. Which
I kind of feel that way about it. It was like that ending for me was stunning. I thought the score really elevated the material of this piece.
Score was beautiful. I agree.
The score was gorgeous. It was actually written by one of the members of the Lumineers. Fun fact.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
It was the first thing I Googled when I got out of the theater, because I was like, that was a gorgeous score. Yeah, Jeremiah Freites. I hope I'm not butchering that name, but yeah, he's a member of the Lumineers, but he did the score for this. I was like, go off, dude.
Yeah, great score.
Yeah, I'm like, I will be revisiting that score, but like, I think one of the things that made this one really challenging for me to watch in theaters was because it is very, very graphic with its depiction, specifically of gun violence from an authoritarian government that is overseeing this like proletariat group of kids. So like, for me, that made it hard because of like everything that's happening in the world, of like, we're seeing very literal depictions of this gun violence towards these kids. But yeah, that's what I'll say on that. I don't want to get too dark. So.
No, that's fine. I get it. Yeah, it is a very is it prescient is the word? Prescient? Is that a word? Prescient, right?
I think so. I think
I think it's prescient. It's just a word you don't hear a lot. So when you say it, it sounds so weird. But yeah, it's very that, like, it's very it's dystopian, but it's very like, I think everybody personally, and I said this, and my friend said this, and my mom. I saw this with my mom, and then my best friend. And I guess I'm a sicko because I saw it twice in 4 days. So
I support you. Hey, when it hits, it hits. Like,
I guess I'm a sicko because everybody's like, I can't rewatch this. I was like, twice in 4 days, baby. But no. But yeah, it's very both of them, and I also agree with this. Both of them, like, I think everybody in the world needs to kind of stop and watch this movie right now, just because it does touch on so many things, and there are, I feel like a big plot point of this is kind of empathy. There's a lot of a theme of this is like empathy and like understanding your fellow man, and just because it's obviously it's these teenage 20-year-old boys. But it's kind of like showing like your fellow man, because it's these people from different backgrounds. Raymond, his dad was kind of a rebel and obviously died because of it. Kind of a hippie type, can classify it as that, I guess. And, Peter McVries is just from foster care. African American, never really had a chance in foster care, and he just kind of traveled his whole life. He never really had a home, and then just different people from different aspects. There's a Native American, there's an Asian, there's but it's not just race, it's just like different political and economical backgrounds they're coming from too. There's one kid that you can tell is just like very insecure of himself, so he projects that onto other people, and you hate him for it, but at the same time you can see through it. It's like, I will say that actor did really good at what he was supposed to do, because you hate him for it, but you can also see through that he's just very lonely on the inside. Like, he was really good at portraying that loneliness.
No, there were some excellent acting performances in this. I was very blown away by that.
Yeah, the acting amazing. Cinematography for what they have to do, because it is so hard to be a cinematographer and shoot something like this because it is so simple,
Yeah.
but they somehow make it the most beautiful I think you could make it without making it too movie like, I guess, or too fantasy like. Like they wanted to keep that raw feeling, and I felt like they kept that raw look and energy that captures the film. I feel like they captured that with the camera as well, but they also made it interesting enough where it's like they're just walking in basically a straight line almost for forever, hundreds of miles, but it's so visually interesting at almost all points. Like it never gets stale, it never gets boring. It's always visually there's something cool happening with the camera. And granted, there's a lot of wild things happening in the script as well that kind of keep that.
A couple of things I can't unsee and have no desire to see again.
Yeah. But yeah, visually, cinematography, top notch as well.
I also really love that like we get a lot of close-ups, and I feel like we don't see like that close-up frame of like these two characters just talking together a lot anymore for like minutes at a time.
You're preaching to the choir.
I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but like that was one of the things I was so excited about. I was like, oh my gosh, we're letting our actors act? Crazy.
I love scenes that just sit down with the camera and you just put it on the two actors and you just let them do their thing. Like I love that. And I'm not even like, I come from more of a director cinematographer background, so you think I'd hate that, but I absolutely think that provides some of the most like insightful things in film is when you just focus on two characters having a conversation. You get some of the most real things and raw things out of that. And it doesn't have to be, it can be visually beautiful at the same time.
Oh yeah. No, like the scenes specifically where like Ray keeps dozing and like we have the close-ups of him kind of coming to and Pete like really trying to keep him present and awake for the rest of it. Like those scenes are so visually stunning, even though not much is happening. Like we're literally just watching Pete react to Ray and Ray react to Pete. And I was like, thank you. This feels like a movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just appreciated that. And like these actors are incredible. And just we get so much more insight into the story and into their relationship and their goals and where this is going because they let it be simple. And like that is, I think, the thing I respect most about this film is like it's okay to let your movie be simple.
Yeah, like they're not afraid. Now there are like random bursts of violence that kind of spice it up for sure, but I never feel, because there's a certain balance you have to have with that without it being gratuitous, but also you want to show, and you got to keep that balance. And I feel like some people may not like the balance, because there is some things I can see some people being like, well, that's maybe be a little too much for them. But for me, I thought it struck the perfect balance of showing the gore and because there is a lot of gore in this. It is a gory movie for sure, that showing the gore when they needed to and cutting away when they did. Like I felt like it was like a perfect switch off of when they picked. Like I thought it was just like so tastefully done.
I agree. And I think that's the beauty of hiring someone like Francis Lawrence, who has the background of doing the Hunger Games, which was literally like, you know, for our generation, like considered to be like one of the hardest films and concepts and books to digest because of the fact that it's literally children killing children. So it's like, I remember that was one of the things that people were really scared about when the Hunger Games was being adapted, was like, how do you strike a balance of having this like hold the like punch you the way it needs to, because that's the whole point. Like it's supposed to be hard to watch, but also not being so intense that it's like we're not even getting a point across anymore. It's just gratuitous violence.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I also think what you said about some of Stephen King's best work is like stuff that's not horror. And I think the best movie ever made is Shawshank Redemption, which is based off a Stephen King novella. Like not even a novel. Like it's not even a full book. So like to me, like if somebody asked me what's the greatest movie ever made, a lot of people would say Citizen Kane, obviously, but Shawshank Redemption for me. And Stand By Me is also one of my favorite movies, obviously. So the fact that we kind of got back to that, because you're right, there hasn't, besides maybe the Green Mile, which was 95, 96. I'm trying to think of another Stephen King, but since then that hasn't been like horror or fantasy, or they've tried to focus more on that, which is great. Obviously, I'm wearing a Pennywise shirt, so obviously I enjoy that. But at the same time, I do like that we got a Stephen King story that's not just a ghost goblin fantasy. It's humans in this terrifying. It's still a terrifying situation. It's just a different, more raw, realistic situation.
No, for sure. Oh, and then a beautiful sweeping score.
Yeah, that score was great, and it does feel like a grown up in a way. It does feel like somebody made this compare. I'm trying to think of the comparison. They said it was like Stand By Me meets something, and I forgot what they said it was. It wasn't Hunger Games. It was Stand By Me and something, and it was such a great, like, spot on. And I don't know what it is. I can't remember what it is now, but it does feel like an adult, grown up version of Stand By Me.
Yes.
In so many ways. And I mean, Stand By Me in its own is very adult.
Oh yeah.
You're looking for a dead body and a kid that died, and there's like threats of the kids getting stabbed by an older guy, and like there's a lot of adult things in that. And, like one of the kids getting abused, and like they end up dying in different ways.
Yeah.
They kind of tell how they die and stuff. So it's kind of a dark movie in of itself, but I think this is like a more Stand By Me for the more. This is honestly, this could kind of be the Stand By Me for our generation.
It could. It's definitely like an older audience. This is geared for, like, it's intense, but yeah, it absolutely is. I think
like if people that people grew up with Stand By Me, I feel like this could kind of be the thing. Us growing up with could be the Long Walk for us. Like,
yeah,
it feels like in that wheelhouse, which is a great compliment for me because, like I said, Stand By Me is one of my favorite films of all time. I love it, and like I said, it made me cry almost. I didn't cry, but I'm a very hard person to make cry. I don't think I've cried in maybe over a year. Probably. I don't cry often. I'm not a crier.
Good for you.
Hey, I wish I could show emotion like that. Look at me getting deep in my psychological stuff. This is so philosophical. Sometimes I just get off into these philosophical things. But anyway, I don't cry a lot, so it's hard to make me cry. But there's one other movie that did have a little. I don't count it as crying because it was just a little teardrop. But there was one movie that made a teardrop come out of my eye that's above this right now of the year. But this movie was the second most emotion I felt of any movie of the year for sure. It and more frequent too, I would say, because the movie I'm talking about, it was kind of more of a certain scene and kind of like a certain point, and The Long Walk was kind of more consistent throughout. Like, it was kind of throughout the whole movie, I was like getting verge of tears, goosebumps. Like I said, I had goosebumps 4 or 5 times. Near a tear came out of my eye. And then I watched it again, even on rewatch. It still hit this. I didn't tear up on rewatch because I knew what was coming, but I still got those goosebumps. I still felt it in my chest, and that's hard for a movie to make me feel that way. So when a movie does do that, I feel like it's super special, and it's doing something right.
Yeah.
And I think it just comes down to that fact of just like it's showing like empathy for each other and your fellow man, and like understanding that like people come from all these different backgrounds, and instead of maybe being like basically a dick to each other, we could just try to understand one another. Maybe that's another concept. And kind of, this sounds so cheesy, people are gonna probably roast me for this, but maybe choose love over hate in some what I mean.
Revolutionary concept. Honestly though, like, it's not super cheesy because that is a lot of what like the message of this film is. Like the whole backstory we get on Pete, and like the conclusion that we come to is justified entirely because of that concept of choosing love over hate. Because one of the things that I thought was really lovely about the ending is we get into like this whole kind of moral, ethical discussion of like, who deserves to live? Is it the person who is seeking vengeance, or is it the person who continues to see the light in everything?
And I think it does a better job of talking about seeing the light of everything than another movie this year called Superman.
What?
I think this movie could spark more positive vibes from a person than Superman.
Honestly, I agree.
I know people are like, Superman kind of make being choosing love, the phrase punk rock again.
Yeah,
But honestly, I think this does a more impactful job of that.
I
Where
agree. It is genuinely punk rock.
because it's like, you could just be empathetic towards your friend, towards your person next to you. Because at the same time, I mean, we're all in the same situation. I mean, we're not all in the same, but in the scope of like America, if you're going just strictly on America and the political, we all have to live in the same country. So, I mean, yes, we come from different backgrounds, different statuses, different religions, different races, different whatever. But I feel like we could really, just maybe try to understand each other instead of trying to always come at each other's throats, And I feel like this movie does a really good job of that, of
No,
like portraying that. Because even the one guy, forgetting his name in the movie, even, it's the guy that I'm talking about. What is his name? I'm so terrible. I should know this. I love this movie. He kills himself.
With the spoon?
Yeah, the one guy that stabbed himself with the spoon.
Margovich?
Yeah.
That his name?
Something like that. Yeah. Him, like even him, you hate him for most of the movie. Like my friend kept leaning over to me. He's like, I hope this guy dies. Like he was like, I'm so ready for this guy to die. And that's a valid response because he really is like a tyrant and all. And he basically does get a kid murdered.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're like, they finally kind of come around to it and like, oh, he's just insecure. He gets left out a lot. He said he didn't make friends at school and he kind of acts out. And then you can kind of see like once they started to show him kind of support, he kind of felt okay with the idea. Not that it's okay to die, but like okay with the idea that, hey, I'm going to die, but at least I'm dying with people that sort of want to be my friends or be around me or want to be, care about me enough where I'm part of their group now. Like I just want to be part of the group, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but really the relationship between Peter and Ray is what really hit me the most. Yeah. Because it reminded me so much of just like me and my own friends. And just how I've met certain friends and like, because there are people I've known since I was a baby and I'm not close with, but there's people I've met in college and like I would die for them. So like, and I really love that concept where they just meet at the start and they just kind of chat with each other, and then by the end of it, they're basically brothers. And it's just like this whole. And when you go through an experience like that, yeah, you can really become close with another because of experiences like that. But it just really hit me hard, and it really did. I was like, dang, like because I love when he's like. And there's so many great lines in this movie. Like, I love the line where he's like, when it's Ray, I want to say it's Ray and, it's Pete. And they're like, the one kid gets shot and he's like, man, I hope that gets easier. And Ray's like, I hope it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, it's such a simple line. Like, so simple words are used there, but it's so profound. Because it's, talking about if he does get used to it, then who is he if he's used to seeing these people get murdered?
Yeah.
And like hearing them and he doesn't get fazed by it anymore. Like he hopes that he doesn't become numb to that, because if you're a human being, you shouldn't become numb to that. And that's just a strong, profound message that a lot of people should see in today's world too.
Yeah.
And man, just that. And there's another line that really struck me where I think it's Pete again. He's like some people, mothers can lift cars when they're like in danger or whatever. Like when mothers get in danger, they can lift cars. Some people just have that in them. He's like, I don't have that in me. He's like, I think when it's my time to go, I'll just lay down and go. He said, I just hope it's quick. Like, just really profound things, because it's like, I mean, there are people that are, think like that. And like,
yeah,
that line really touched me as well, because I kind of have that same type of mindset as Pete. Is like, man, I don't really have that willpower to like lift a car to survive. Like, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go type thing. So that really hit me too. That line hit me too. And it's just, there's so many touching things in this, and their friendship is just so like, so good. The acting too. It's like they've been friends for forever, and you couldn't tell they were actors. In which I know they filmed this in sequence, which they don't usually do in film.
Yeah.
Obviously they shoot stuff out of sequence all the time. So I think that was really smart of the director, Francis Lawrence, to shoot that with the actors in sequence of the script, because that kind of naturally builds that bond. If you do it that way, that helps the actors out.
It does. As an actor, I can attest. Yes, filming in sequence, very helpful. It's why we like theater.
Yeah, instead of just like, we're at the death scene and then we're at the beginning, it's like, especially for something as raw and visceral as this, that would be probably impossible as an actor to go from that to, in just a day or something. That's a lot, especially just mentally. Just thinking about it mentally, getting in that headspace, I can only imagine. So that was a really good deed by the director to do that, and to decide to, because that's really unconventional in the film business, because it's not very efficient in filmmaking to do that usually, because you only have certain spots for certain days. You only get certain areas for certain times. There's certain paywalls and stuff you have to deal with there. So I bet that was kind of a hassle to figure out, but I'm glad he did, because I bet it really did help their performances and kind of help the movie too.
Yeah. I unfortunately do probably have to leave in the next few minutes.
That's fine. We're kind of talking
about, but yeah, I just figured I would go ahead and say.
Yeah. So basically, this is a great movie. We don't really need to go over the raw stuff. I think we kind of touched on it.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're watching this and you haven't seen the movie, what are you doing? But yeah, go see it. There is some raw things that happen. Trigger warnings, but it is realistic in its depictions. And there are scenes, and it does make some comedy out of it sometimes.
It does.
But and it answers every question you have about the long walk. Like, what happens to your brain? What happens if you have to go to the bathroom? What happens, what happens if you get sick? Like, it answers all of those in a very raw and visceral, disturbing way. But it's realistic, at least. And then I guess we'll get to the end then to finish it off. The end with I love the fake out, because I was like, if Ray survives, I don't think it works.
No, I agree.
And I love how they do it too, because Pete, he's smart in the way he did it, because he knew Ray would try to save him, but Ray was already on his third warning. So as soon as Ray did any mess up, he's gone. So like, there's no reaction time. So it's not like Pete could have saved him in any way. There's no reaction time, because he was already on the third warning when he stopped. And then he picked him up, and he's like, no, we're going to, when Pete stopped and Ray picked him up, he's like, we're going to keep walking just a little bit longer. And then obviously, and then he keeps on walking. He lets go. Ray's like, okay, okay. And so he keeps walking because he thinks Ray's going to keep walking behind him. And he just stop. You just see him stop in the background. And then it's just too late because his warning's already up. So he gets shot. And then Pete obviously wins. And then he gets his wish. He asks for the carbine, and he
fulfills Ray's wish.
Fulfills Ray's wish. And some see that as a positive, and I see that, but at the same time, I can see that as a dark ending too.
I agree.
Because the whole movie, they're talking about how he has so much light in him. He tries to see the positive things and the good in things. And Ray's over here sees more negative. And he's like, Ray's like, I can never be like you. He said, you're so positive. You need to keep that. And in a way, he kind of sacrifices his light for the love of his now brother, in a sense.
Yeah. No, I had the same thought when I saw that. I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm curious. It's almost in a way like it becomes a cliffhanger because of that buildup of like, what will Pete do now? Like, what has this broken him finally?
And when it first ended, like the way it ends with him just walking into the streets, I wasn't sure how to feel about the ending. I was like, I don't know if that ended tastefully or like I ended in a way that was satisfying. And then I thought about it for like 5 minutes. I was like, oh yeah, that was like the perfect ending because it leaves it just ambiguous enough for you to think, but it also ends it enough where it's like, okay, there's an ending here, but you can also think, and it's like a perfect medium there. I don't know if you caught this, but like the lights, he's walking, and the whole time they show the shots. It's always of when they show the road, it's always during the daytime usually, in the sunlight, and it's showing him walking, and it's at night, but there's like lights all along the road, so it's kind of like a mix of both darkness and lightness there.
No, I was literally just about to say that. I was like, I loved that final image of it's the rain, and then is he walking into the light or is he walking into the darkness? Like, we don't know.
It was just perfect.
It's so beautiful. I loved it.
It just hit me really hard. It's perfect. And my only nitpicks to wrap it up for the grade, I said 1, Judy Greer. I think they could have got a better actress for that. And I felt like there are a few screenwriting, there are a few dialogue scenes that felt a little too screenwritery to me, where I was like, this feels like something you would write to be profound and not something these guys would. Sometimes it deviated from what the natural conversation of the guy. Most of the movie is natural, but there's a few times where you're like, this is a screenwriter talking, not these characters. And I think the world, I didn't want to understand all of the world, but they need to explain some of the logistics because the major shows up to kill his dad, but then they say the major isn't like in charge of the whole like state of the world. So it's like, so he comes down to do every execution. Like the whole major's job and how the world's set up could have been just a little bit more fleshed out for me. So I have a few nitpicks.
No, I agree. And then like some of those monologues, like right before the guys are about to die, where we like suddenly get all of their tragic backstory and stuff, like specifically the major's son, that one felt so forced of like, we just need to explain why he's here, what his wish was.
Yeah, so I agree with that. Because I kind of thought, I was like, I bet he's like, I thought there was got to be some connection just to the way he acted and stuff.
Yeah.
But besides that, I think it's a near perfect movie for me. I've seen it twice, and both times I'd give it a solid A, 4.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. I absolutely loved it. Third favorite film of the year.
Yeah. No, I think for me, this was like a B+.
A B+? Not even an A?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Just because of those reasons?
Yeah.
I can see that. I respect it.
It's not, for me, it's one of those things where it's like, it's definitely not my favorite film of the year. I respect it and I appreciate what it's doing, but like, as far as like my personal taste,
yeah,
not necessarily as much. Like I can totally see like the boy camaraderie type thing resonating for you, for sure. For me, there are moments in those dialogue in some of those scenes where I'm like, this dialogue is kind of painful for me to listen to. But I understand it, I respect it, and I appreciate what it is doing. So yeah, for me, it's like I think it's a B+ for me.
Yeah, I never thought about that. But yeah. If you think from if I'm trying to think from like a female perspective, there is some misogynistic stuff for sure. But
it's a very like boys being boys film, and like I don't think that doesn't have its place, but yeah, for me, like it doesn't have quite, I think, the same appeal as it does for like other boys.
yeah, I completely agree with it. I could see that. So yeah, I mean, really good. I loved it. Like I said, hit me in the freaking chest. Hit me in the man feels. It made a man feel something. That's the long walk. The task is simple: walk or die. And they walked and they died. That's
Indeed.
That's for sure. But yeah, I absolutely loved that film. I think it's great. That being said, shout out Craven Conventions.
Thank you.
I don't know when this episode is gonna air, but we will.
I don't either.
We will premiere it when Deontay is ready. He's my papa in this. I don't know why I keep saying that, but people who know. That's okay.
There you go.
My A24 plea. A24.
Hire him.
Hire me, please. I'm here. This is my plea. I need to start making a little thingy. This says A24 hire me. That would be dope. That would be really. Oh my gosh, really awesome. Hold on. What's happening? I'm trying to do something here. It's not working. Hold on. Give me a second.
You are all good.
I'm so sorry. Here we go. I have to just do something real quick since I'm in charge tonight. I never get to be behind all the keys. Okay, here we go. You ready? You ready for this, guys?
I'm ready. There it is. Yes. A24.
I'm kind of in a rush, so that's all I can do right now. But A24, you see it? It's on the screen. It's below me. It's the red A24. Hire me. I'm very cheap. I'll do things for a lot of cheap prices. I will go a lot of links for you for very cheap. Now that sounds very dark, but you know what I mean, A24.
You get the gist. Yeah.
But with that, I mean, I don't know the next episode. Tron Ares possibly. I don't know. Shelby Oaks for sure. I want to talk about Tron, but Jared Leto bothers me.
Leto is AI generated.
True. I'll just see him as Paul Allen the whole movie. Hey, Paul. Yeah. But no. Yeah, but maybe the Tron Ares is a possible one for sure. You are right about that. And then Shelby Oaks will probably be for sure.
Yeah.
Done. Shout out that. October is going to be a great month. Spooky season is here. The Long Walk. Check it out. Peace out, y'all.
Have a great night. Bye.